The first whispers of something strange started in a small town in Kansas. The pastor of St. Matthew's Community Church, Reverend Daniel Carter, received a mysterious letter one chilly November morning. It was a plain white envelope with no return address. Inside was a typed note and a cashier's check for $1 million. Use this to restore your church and serve your community. No need to find me. No need to thank me. Just do good. At first, Carter thought it was a scam. The church was struggling, its roof leaking, its congregation dwindling. $1 million donation out of nowhere? It was too good to be true. He took the check to the bank, half expecting the teller to laugh at him. Instead, they verified its authenticity. The money was real. Within weeks, other churches, big and small, across different denominations started receiving the same mysterious donations. Checks arrived in Kentucky, Oregon, New York, and Texas. Soon, news spread among religious leaders. Was it a secret movement? A billionaire's act of faith? When investigative journalist Kate Dawson of the Washington Post caught wind of the story, she was intrigued. The pattern was undeniable, hundreds of churches, all receiving anonymous donations with nearly identical letters. No one knew who was behind it, but Kate had a gut feeling. She had covered billionaires before, and something about this had the fingerprints of a man who had made a habit of defying expectations. Elon Musk. It seemed unlikely. Musk had always been vocal about his complicated relationship with religion. He wasn't known for charitable donations to churches. And yet, who else had both the means and the unpredictability to launch such a secret initiative? Kate started making calls, tracking financial records, talking to church leaders. Slowly, a web of transactions began to emerge, each check drawn from accounts connected to shell companies, all tracing back to a single entity, a private trust in Nevada, one rumored to be linked to Musk's inner circle. The revelation sent shockwaves through the media. Why would one of the world's most famous tech billionaires, known for his ventures into space, AI, and electric cars, fund 1,000 churches in secret? The world was about to find out. The story spread like wildfire. News outlets, podcasts, and social media exploded with speculation. Conservative commentators saw it as proof that Musk was more religious than he let on. Liberal analysts wondered if it was a PR stunt. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was part of a secret space cult. Kate Dawson, however, wanted real answers. She knew Elon Musk wasn't the type to respond to traditional media inquiries, so she tried a different approach, Twitter, or rather, X. She composed a simple but direct post. Mr. Musk, are you the mysterious benefactor behind the 1,000 church donations? If so, why? #MuskChurchMystery. To her surprise, Musk responded within an hour. Interesting theory. But I don't think God needs my money. Or does he? Thinking face. It was classic Musk, cryptic, playful, but not a denial. That only fueled more speculation. News anchors debated his tweet, pastors discussed it in sermons, and YouTube influencers dissected every possible meaning. Meanwhile, Kate kept digging. She contacted former Tesla executives, SpaceX engineers, and even Musk's past personal assistants. Many had heard rumors of Musk's growing fascination with theology, but none could confirm his involvement with the donations. Then she got a tip. A former SpaceX employee who asked to remain anonymous told her about a private meeting at Musk's Texas compound 6 months prior. Attendees included high-ranking figures from Tesla, Neuralink, and even a few theologians. The topic? The future of faith in an AI-driven world. That was enough for Kate to book a flight to Austin. She arrived at the entrance of Starbase, Musk's sprawling SpaceX facility. She didn't have an official interview scheduled, but she wasn't leaving without answers. She stood outside the gates, hoping for an opportunity. Then, just as she was about to give up, a black Tesla pulled up beside her. The window rolled down. "Elon will see you now," said a voice from inside. Kate's heart pounded. She had come looking for a story. She had no idea she was about to hear something that could change the world. Kate Dawson had interviewed some of the most powerful people on the planet, but nothing prepared her for sitting face-to-face with Elon Musk inside his private office at Starbase. The room was minimalist, sleek glass walls, a few futuristic-looking chairs, and a massive digital display showing a live feed from SpaceX's Starship launch pad. On the far wall, a whiteboard was covered in complex equations. Some looked like physics, others theological references. Musk leaned back in his chair, watching her with a slight smirk. "You're persistent," he said. Kate pulled out her recorder. "I think the world deserves to know the truth. Are you the one funding the churches?" Musk shrugged. "Maybe." She raised an eyebrow. "That's not a yes or a no." He chuckled. Look, I do a lot of things people don't expect. I send rockets to Mars, I build electric cars, I mess with AI. Why not add church donations to the list? Kate leaned forward. But why? You've never been a religious man. Musk's expression grew serious. He stood and walked to the massive window overlooking the SpaceX launch site. I don't like labels. I've always said I believe in the possibility of a higher power. But here's the thing, if humanity is going to become a multi-planetary species, we need more than just technology. We need something bigger than ourselves. Something that gives people purpose. Kate listened intently. He continued, for centuries religion has done that. Whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, whatever, it's given people a moral framework. And as we move toward a future where AI and automation replace human jobs, where people question their own purpose, I think faith is going to be more important than ever. Kate's mind raced. So, this is your way of ensuring religion survives? Musk turned to her. I wouldn't put it that way. Let's just say I'm investing in human belief. The same way I invest in Mars, AI, and electric vehicles. Belief is a technology too, in a way. And I want to see what happens when you give it resources. Kate was stunned. That's unprecedented. Musk grinned. I do like unprecedented things. Kate thought about the impact of his words. A man known for reshaping industries was now, in secret, trying to reshape faith itself. But there was one more question she needed to ask. If you're doing this for the future, why keep it a secret? Musk's smile faded. For the first time in the conversation, he looked almost vulnerable. Because it's not about me, he said. If people knew I was behind it, they'd turn it into something else. A political debate. A meme. A controversy. That's not the point. The point is to see what happens when churches, places that have struggled financially for decades, are suddenly empowered to do more. Kate nodded slowly. She had come here expecting a billionaire's vanity project. Instead, she had found something much bigger. Musk sat back down. So, Kate, what's the headline going to be? She met his gaze. I don't know yet, she admitted. But she knew one thing, this story was far from over. Kate Dawson left Starbase with more questions than answers. The revelation that Elon Musk was secretly funding 1,000 churches wasn't just shocking. It was historic. But she had a choice to make. If she published this story, it would go viral instantly. Musk's involvement would become a global headline. But would that defeat the purpose? Would it turn his quiet experiment into a circus? She spent the next few weeks traveling across America, visiting some of the churches that had received the anonymous donations. What she found was astonishing. In rural Ohio, a small church that had been on the brink of shutting down had transformed into a thriving community center. They had built a shelter for the homeless, a food bank, and even launched a free coding program for underprivileged kids. In Texas, a struggling black church had used the funds to provide scholarships for young students who wanted to attend college but couldn't afford it. In California, a Hispanic church had expanded its outreach, providing legal assistance to immigrant families facing deportation. The pattern was clear. These churches weren't just fixing their buildings. They were changing lives. And none of them knew where the money had come from. Kate met with Reverend Carter, the pastor in Kansas who had first received one of the mysterious checks. We prayed for a miracle, he told her. And God sent one. I don't care who wrote the check. All I care about is that we're able to help people now. Kate hesitated. Should she tell him the truth? Before she could decide, her phone rang. It was an unknown number. She answered. Miss Dawson. She recognized the voice immediately. Elon Musk. How's your research going? He asked casually. Kate stepped away from the congregation. You already know, don't you? You're keeping track of what these churches are doing with the money. There was a pause. Let's just say I like to monitor my investments, Musk admitted. What do you think so far? Kate took a deep breath. I think you're making a real impact. But I also think the moment this goes public, it'll change everything. Musk sighed. That's what I'm worried about. Kate frowned. Then why call me? You knew I'd figure it out. You could have ignored me. Another pause. Then Musk said something unexpected. I wanted to see if you'd understand the bigger picture. Kate's heart pounded. Which is? I don't care about credit, Kate. I care about what happens next. If you run this story, it needs to be about them, the people, the communities. Not me. Kate closed her eyes. She had spent her entire career chasing the biggest stories. exposing powerful figures. But this wasn't about power. This was about something deeper. She opened her eyes and looked back at the church. The answer was suddenly clear. Kate Dawson sat in her New York apartment staring at the blinking cursor on her laptop screen. She had everything she needed to break the biggest story of her career, proof that Elon Musk had secretly funneled millions into 1,000 churches across America. A billionaire investing in faith, not for publicity, not for power, but for the future of humanity. She had spent her life chasing headlines. But this was something different. Musk had given her a choice without ever explicitly saying it. He wanted the world to focus on the impact, not on him. If she wrote the story the way the media expected, Elon Musk funds 1,000 churches, it would overshadow everything. The donations would become a debate, a controversy, a political tool. But if she told it differently, if she made it about the communities, the lives being changed, it could become something else entirely. She sighed, cracked her knuckles, and began typing. The Unseen Hand, How a Mysterious Benefactor is Reviving America's Churches, by Kate Dawson. It started with a single letter. A struggling church in Kansas received a donation that seemed almost miraculous, $1 million, no sender, no explanation. Within months, similar letters arrived at churches in Texas, California, New York, and beyond. Over 1,000 churches. Over $1 billion. And no one knew where it was coming from. But the impact was undeniable. Churches that had been on the brink of closing their doors were now thriving. Communities were being rebuilt, not just spiritually but physically, homeless shelters, food banks, educational programs, scholarships. A pastor in Ohio described it as a modern-day miracle. A minister in Florida called it proof that God provides. No one asked for credit. No one sought recognition. And perhaps that was the point. Kate read over the first few paragraphs. She had buried Musk's name deep in the story. It was there, but not in the headline, not in the lead. If people wanted to find out, they would. But the focus would remain where it belonged, on the people. She clicked publish. Within hours, the story exploded. It wasn't a typical Elon Musk headline. It wasn't about Tesla, SpaceX, or AI. It was about something bigger. Church leaders praised the unknown benefactor. Communities shared their stories. The donations were still anonymous, but speculation ran wild. And while many guessed Musk was involved, the lack of confirmation gave the story an almost mythical quality. For once, the media wasn't just talking about a billionaire. They were talking about hope. And somewhere in Texas, sitting in his office at Starbase, Elon Musk read the article and smiled. He had always believed that the best way to change the world was to build the future. Maybe, just maybe, he had just helped build something even greater than Mars. Something eternal.